Welcome all to Chasing Tents. My name is Abby. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. No, I'm not at the circus today. I'm at Motorcycle Live in Birmingham, England. This is our motorcycle show, just like the EICMA show in Italy, and it's huge. We've got bikes from all around the world, and we've got also entrepreneurs and people who make special parts for our bikes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide this video into two parts. This is part one, where I show you all the motorbikes. Part two will be about all the upgrades and all the parts and all the ingenious kind of ideas people have, and they put it into practice. They think outside the box. So that's going to be about part two. So let's start with part one, and let's start showing you some motorbikes. Well, as you can probably tell, lights are just turning on. I've just come in first thing in the morning, got absolute exclusive access before anyone comes in, and I'm really happy all the lights have just turned on as soon as I've turned the camera on. So let's start with my favorite brand, which is Triumph, without wasting too much time and before the public comes in, because I think there's a lot of people out there. And I must thank massively to Race Talks, you know, the guys who invited me here. They gave me like a proper VIP pass, so I've got this amazing access where I can see this whole show without any botherations. Anyways, let's start with my soft spotty brand, Triumph. So I've got a Triumph Daytona 900 Super 3, so I've got a massive soft spot for them, and I love that particular bike. This is the all-new Speed Triple 1200R. In the UK, it's 17950. I mean, especially with that color scheme, it's pretty good, I think. A lot of people do think that they should have had kind of more fairing down there, and I kind of agree if they're trying to make it into a super bike-ish bike, but I don't really think that's what their plan was, you know. But the nice touches in the bike are absolutely sublime. They've given you know, the semi-automatic, the suspension in the front, that's Öhlins. You've got the Brembo calipers, which are fantastic. You've got Öhlins at the back as well. The bike sounds absolutely fantastic. I think a few journalists were testing this bike at the I think at the Ascari circuit in Italy. Pretty good. Look at that. That is a radial master cylinder, and that is very similar to your RCS 19, what you have on your bikes. Front carbon bits everywhere. Yes, you know, the front fairing, some people like it, some people don't, but they are not trying to compete with the Ducatis and the Aprilias, RSV4 factories and stuff like this. Bike, I think, had its own place out there, so it's absolutely amazing. I mean, the colored screen on this bike is really, really good. The tires they give with the bike are the Supercorsa V3 version, so that's the new one, and they've got optimized cornering and ABS and traction control on this bike. I think this bike is amazing. If I had some extra money, I would definitely buy that bike. So let's look around now. That color is slightly cheaper than that one, if I'm not wrong, by about 250 quid. Look at that. That bike is doing so well, this Triumph 660. They've got some special scheme bikes as well, which are especially this Rocket. Look at that. So this particular version is, yes, it's a little bit of money, which is 21,100. This is the Rocket 3 R221 edition, you know. So you know, Rocket 3, this bike is something completely out of the box thinking. Now it comes with a 2500cc engine, 3 cylinders. Who doesn't know about this particular model? I think this is just another level. I mean, I'm surrounded by absolute superb Triumph bikes. Look at that 120 black. Now that is, a lot of the portions on that bike are matte black compared to, say, if you look at that one. If you remember this one, if I'm not wrong, that is the, is that the James Bond edition? Street Scrambler. And let's have a quick look at this. This is the Bonneville T100. Looks absolutely superb. Very, very original. I love that exhaust pipe. Doesn't that remind you of the Cafe Racer videos and stuff like that you see? I mean, look at the size of that caliper. So that's not that big, but I'm pretty sure it does a good job. Another one, I think this is the GT version compared to the R. And as you can tell, with the GT, they've got a screen the that backrest is missing on the R, you know, so there are subtle changes with the GT version and the R, and I think the positioning of the foot pegs is also different. The foot pegs are a little bit on the front side, whereas if we quickly go to the R version, they are a little bit on the back side. I mean, I do like the positioning on the R, but that's just me. Okay, let's move on to their amazing Moto 2 bikes. So these have that amazing Triumph triple engine, and look at that chassis and the swing arm. That is just so many adjustability options and stuff like that. Absolutely superb. So this is Sam Lowe's bike. As the music is getting louder, let's move towards Kawasaki, and Kawasaki have really come on here with a big pomp and show. I mean, look at that. That is the ZX with the UK number plate. Brilliant. Look at the glittery color scheme on this one. So this is your H2 SX. The tubular kind of chassis, which is very similar to the original H2. And obviously they've introduced this 650 Z650 RS. Now I think they've got a new green color which is there. I'll show you that in a minute. But that is, they've done a big advertising campaign on that one. And look at this color. I mean, how retro is that? Even though this is a 650 twin, but the actual petrol tank is huge. It actually looks like they've really put some thought into it. And even though it's a 650 bike, they've really made it quite muscular, which I think is a really good touch. Similar to this one as well. Look at that. Even though that's a black tank, still looks pretty big. Okay, let's move on to these two amazing colors, which I really like. Now, I know I'm showing you the cafe racery bikes, but I'm massively into that, and this is what is trending in the moment. So that's the Z900 RS, so that's the 4-cylinder version, and £12,500, not that bad, and I quite like that yellow and black color. I've got something about yellow and black. And Z650 RS, again, similar to them, massive tank, looks very muscular, looks really, really nice. Okay, let's show you something more racy, because if you remember at the World Superbike, Johnny Rea was racing a special liveried Kawasaki ZX10RR. I think they have that here, and now you can actually, here we go, here you are. So if you want this particular scheme, so basically you buy that, for example, okay, you buy that from the showroom, you can actually request Kawasaki to get your fairings painted in that scheme, and that's how easy it is. It's absolutely amazing. It's a retro special, they call it, and that's the name of the scheme. So I really think this, from the back in the day bikes, looks absolutely super stunning. Really, really nice. And you know what, I quite like that. For me, even though they've got this particular version and that retro version, my favorite is this gunmetal grayish with the black and a bit of green thrown in. I really think that, for me, is absolutely stunning. The Showa suspension looks absolutely beautiful. And look at the price. Can you go wrong with that? $15,999. You know, where all the bikes are around 20k, you know. And I know, you know, Kawasaki get a lot of hard time in the British press, always number 5 or number 6. But is it a number 5 or a number 6 bike compared to all the other bikes? I don't think it is, because it really depends on the rider. Anyways, I'm talking too much here about things. I'm really passionate about Kawasaki. Look at that. That is some of their race pedigree. Johnny Rea's bike, number 1. He's lost number 1 this year, but there you go. Look at that. MSS, massive shout out to them. They are fantastic. They do a lot of work with Kawasaki. I am just absolutely astonished that how much effort Kawasaki has put in. I'm so disappointed Aprilia's not here, but looking at this, it just looks absolutely fantastic. Okay, now I really wanted to show you this particular bike. Look at the absolute size of this thing. Look at that, a Kropovich can. Now, I'm not a big fan of OEM of Kropovich systems because I think companies can save money here unless you can actually take these baffles out, which I don't see you can. How? No, I don't see any screws where you can take baffles out. So this is what companies can save money here by putting a normalish can, just like the ZX10. You know, that's just a normal can, it's not a Kropovich. Save money, make the bike cheaper, and maybe sell a full system or something on the side without any cat or something like this. But this is absolutely massive. 17,099, so this is actually more money than the Kawasaki ZX10R. You know, this is the ZH2. They call it, it comes with a K pack, so it's fully loaded basically. Okay, next one, we move on. This one is very, very popular all around the world. This is the Z900 by Kawasaki, just under 10k, and a pretty stunning bike. Okay, I'm at BMW, and BMW have also come in with a massive display of bikes and everything. Now, this is the king of all adventure bikes, I think, the R1250 GS. However, I do think the new Triumph update on the new Tiger is absolutely stunning. But look at the size of this thing, my goodness, look at that. You know, you really got to see this bike to really believe how wide, and you know, it protects you from all sorts of things, I reckon. You know, if you want to, that is like a tank of a bike. And they've got loads of versions with panniers, versions with sat navs. I mean, the accessories are another level. Okay, let's just quickly move this way. Of course, the bike I truly love is that M1000RR. But let's see if we got, what I wanted to show you is a special color which isn't very common. Here we go. Now, my Chasing Tents bike, which I had fully painted by Track Bike Paints, Adam Parker, massive shout out to him, and Sublime Designs did the livery. Now that is very similar color scheme to my Chasing Tents bike, the track bike. But look at that, that is a gunmetal grey with a bit of red thrown in, and the RR logo. Just works beautifully fine, and that's what I was talking about. Rather than putting in a Kropovich can, just put a normal can so people can chuck that away and put, and obviously on the M1000RR they have put the Kropovich can, which I think they could have saved some money, but it is one of those things. So that's the M1000RR, and that's the S1000RR. And to be very honest with you, if it was my money, I would get the S1000RR, because that is just an all-in-all race bike, and you probably have seen many reviews on YouTube and stuff like that. But let me show you something more special. I think that is, if I'm not wrong, Mr. Hickman's bike. So Peter Hickman, who holds the Isle of Man record for the fastest lap around, I think 135 miles an hour if I'm not wrong. So yeah, these are the bikes in the British Superbike Championship. Look at the brakes, my goodness, the ducts. Look at that, that one actually uses Nissan. That one actually uses Nissan calipers. And the rest of the two use the Brembos. They got the quick wheel change kits, my goodness, look at them. They look fantastic, absolutely amazing. Okay, let's move on to something completely different. So this, what they've done here is, my goodness, I wouldn't like. So this is a bit of an adventure park here, where you can actually take their adventure bikes, even their cruiser bike around, and you know, really kind of feel the, I would say, the maneuverability and all sorts of things. So BMW rider training, they actually have their own kind of rider training program, and they really show you what these bikes can do, even at slow speed. The stability and everything is absolutely amazing. That's their BMW clothing. Okay, as you know, I'm massive into British stuff, British made, and promoting kind of British industry. Now, Langen is another fantastic example. MCN, one of the journalists at MCN, took this bike on the road lately. This is a 2-stroke motorcycle. It is a bit of money, but it is absolutely fantastic. Look at this, look at the intakes. I mean, the bike is absolutely stunning. Look at that. If anyone's not seen the road review of this bike, It's called Langen, and look at the tubular frame. The bike weighs hardly anything, and the bike is absolutely brilliant. Dimag wheels, lightweight wheels. You've got a two-stroke system, and this two-stroke system is actually road legal. So I know the green boffins try to get rid of two-strokes, but somehow they are coming back in fashion. You've got all-in forks in the front. You've got, is it all-ins at the back? Let me have a quick look. You actually have no, it doesn't look like it's all in at the back. Look at that little chain guard thing. It's made of carbon fiber, carbon there. You got Hell calipers, you got Hell clutch perch, and you got Hell master cylinder as well. So I really think this bike is absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. Wow, completely carbon fiber. How amazing is that? Okay, let's move on to something else. Okay, we're at Indian. Now, Indian is another brand which I like quite a lot, especially these kind of bikes. I mean, in America at Laguna Seca, I saw them racing, and I just couldn't believe how they can race these bikes, you know. I just love the Americans sometimes, you know, they just do things out of the box completely. But this is what I love. These two bikes, really low down, low center of gravity, absolutely comfortable to ride. Look at that lovely Chesterfield, love that. Indian have actually done a really good job here, really good job. Nice apparel, nice clothing. They've got a few models, and another one which I really like is this one, because this is the 300 Custom Scout. And if you want to see something quite intriguing, look at that exhaust. That is just absolutely brilliant. And the rear tire, that is a custom job, I think, and it is absolutely fantastic. The wheel design is superb. Okay, here's another quick one. I thought I'll give a quick shout out to another British based company. This is Herald, and they're based in, I think, Huntingdon in Cambridgeshire, and they do a pretty good job. They've got loads of quirky different colors, matte, silver, gunmetal grey, different kind of learner legal I should say, bikes, cafe racer theme, custom theme, you know, loads of different Brat style themes. They've got loads of different kind of bikes which are quite intriguing. I mean, look at that. Is it called Nardo Grey or something? The Audi one. So yeah, I just thought I'll give a quick shout out. They're based in the UK, they're in Cambridgeshire. I mean, I like that. That is just like, you know, the Moto Guzzi V7 Cafe Racer, that you can have your favorite number there. Mine will be 23. So yeah, and look at that. That's like a old school Steve McQueen style Triumph Scrambler kind of job. So really nice. You know, what they do is something quite different. So I thought I'll give them a quick shout out. So Herald are pretty good. Another company which I should give a bit of shout out is, I think they're Chinese based. However, they've got a massive influx in the UK with a race series, like a mini twin thing. I think that's that bike. There you go. I really wanted to give a quick shout out to them, you know, because they are doing their level best to promote their bikes left, right, center. Absolutely. That's their touring bike. That's their like kind of street bike. I mean, that looks amazing. Carbon. They are really, you know, taking it to another level. Look at this. Look at that. Look at the carrying case. This is a 700 CL-X and a 4-year warranty. I think most bikes come with a 2-year warranty, but look at that color dash. That looks very similar to an AIM dash. I'm pretty sure it's not, but still, you know, that's a 300cc version, 4-year warranty again. So I'm pretty sure that's an A2 license compliant. So that's a 650, and it's a straight twin 650 MT. So that you can, I think Kawasaki Versys and all that will be its competition. But I just wanted to show you guys what these guys are doing, and everything looks quality. Not only their display, but everything. Look at that monstrosity. What is that? 2-year warranty with that. Is Z-Force 1000 Sport. My goodness me. You know, I think on some Dubai sand dunes, that will be just right. Okay, let's move on to the next display. Okay, I think after Triumph, this by far is my second favorite stand. Not only because now a famous Indian company have overtaken them, TVS, and really brought them back to life, but they've also done a lot of new things. Oh, they're still hoovering, so excuse the hoover, because public still haven't come in yet. But I thought I will show you around before. This is one of the busiest stands because they allow people to sit on that carbon bike, which I'll show you in a bit. But what they've told me, that they've upgraded or evolved everything on the bike. I mean, look at that fairing kind of holder. That is like proper chrome there. They love their chrome, don't they? Very American. But lightweight wheels, which are Oz wheels. And this is it's called now the V4 SV. Now the plant on that is a V4 1200cc, but they've got all-ins front, all-ins back, proper Brembo brakes. They've really done well here, really well. Okay, now this one is actually my favorite. This is the Commando 961 Classic. Again, you've got Brembo brakes, you've got all-ins at the back. You know, the bike looks absolutely superb. Carbon chain guard, carbon rear mud guard. And let me just tell you that this particular bike, 71 horsepower, front suspension is also all-ins, but they've not gone for the traditional old school style. They've done it upside down forks, which is the kind of the modern custom style, which I quite like. And the bike is huge, plenty of space for your knees to really get in under the tank, so you can really control the bike better. Front carbon there on the head, so it looks really good. Proper cafe racer, you know. And Norton's, if you see that, and that is my favorite number 23. I mean, look at that. That is a single from back in the day. That is Jeff Duke's Clubman's TT winner. So that's won the Isle of Man TT. And if you see that little foam, people used to keep their chin. So Jeff used to keep his chin on the tank when he's giving it everything. That is a 1903 Norton. Look at that. Single cylinder. It's like a bicycle with an engine on. And that's how a lot of motorbike companies started. Okay, let's look at this one. Again, same engine, the V4, but this is more of a radical cafe racer look. This is actually called the V4 CR. I don't really like those decals, to be very honest with you. I think they could have done a better job. And the chrome is a bit of a love and hate thing with the chrome, but I love the exhaust. I don't know how they passed the noise testing and everything with that one. But before I show you the carbon one, let me show you this carbon version of that same bike. So the V4 CR, basically this is pretty much that carbon bike, but in naked format. And again, they've not really left anything kind of bland. You've got all-ins front and back. There's a lot of chrome, but look at that rear swing arm. Uh-oh, the announcements have started. So here we go. This gets so busy. What is that? Okay, let the announcement finish and I'll restart. Okay, now the announcement is over. Let's have a quick look at this one. This is a very popular bike here because they have allowed people to sit on it. They've got a lovely stitching going on, bit of suede there as well, and it's absolutely fully carbon. All-ins front and back, top of the range Brembos there, and you know, that is very similar to an Ariel. That is very similar to an Ariel exhaust. I've just had a quick hello from the Race Talks guys. It's because of these guys I'm here. They've given me the I would say the VIP access. So yeah, that is that exhaust is very similar to an Ariel system. So it's amazing how they are getting away with the noise and Euro 5, I should say, with an exhaust like that. But they are. Now I know this bike and the company in general got a lot of bad press, especially when John McGuinness was on it and it lost some major bolt on it while it was on the Isle of Man. But I've been told the bike has been completely revamped. They've upgraded or improved everything and anything, you know. The carbon wheels, the BST carbon wheels, I'm a big fan of BST because I think they really do a good job. They've been doing it for a very long time, all the way from South Africa. But here we go, that is another look at the Norton Commando 961. Really, really nice touch. Massive looking bike. If I had a choice between this or Triumph, what I would get, I would say probably the Norton, really, because of the heritage and the Isle of Man history. Really, that's for me. That is really major. Okay, let's move on to something different, and we will go to Harley Davidson. So I'm not really a big Harley person, but my brother has a Harley night rod thing, which I think was developed in conjunction with Porsche or something. So that is their electric bike, and they are doing really well, surprisingly. So I think that's is it called the Live Wire, if I'm not wrong? Yeah, Live Wire. So they are actually doing really well on these bikes. They're selling them properly. And also, something different, I'll show you the fat bobs and things like that later, but this is what they're trying to get into now properly. The adventure market. You know, I know BMW is kind of ruling this market and Triumph has got their new one, but this Panamera, you know, similar engine, you know, 1250, same as the BMW, but another level. You know, it's still a twin, but the BMW twin is obviously the kind of, shall I call it boxer sideway thing, but this is like a V-twin, the normal Harley style V-twin, so pretty cool. Look at this. You know, who thought they would make 3,500, 4,500 pound bicycles with the electric motors in? Who thought that Harley would do it? But they've done it. And okay, let's go to something more intriguing, which is their normal bikes, which is, look at that. I mean, I love that American flag, that lovely thing. This is a Street Bob 114, but to me, I think these kind of bikes, which are quite versatile, I quite like them. The Sportster S, you know, the two colors look great, but I quite like them. I really think, you know, they've over-engineered the headlight a bit, and it just doesn't look very Harley-ish, but it is what it is. That's what they've decided to do. And I can see some people coming now with some masks, because masks from today are mandatory. And I have got one in my pocket, and I will put it on when the people start to come in. Look at that. Now this is what Harley is properly famous for. Fat Boy 114. If you are a Harley fan, you know this. Chrome. That is a good Harley headlight. That is proper. Look at the way the forks are kind of captured in that casing. It's absolutely stunning. Look at the front wheel. Front wheel is like the front tire is as wide as some of the super bikes, the rear one. So anyway, sorry. Let's move on to the next one, which is something totally different. Now here we are, something different and quirky. Now this company, Horwin, which is mainly electric, and look at that. Look at the pastel colors and the schemes and what they have, and it is absolutely stunning. I mean, for city riding, you can't go wrong. And you know what? How expensive they are? Only £4,000. I mean, I'm pretty sure the top speed and stuff like that isn't that much, but who cares? For a cheap, reliable, around the town riding adventure, Horwin, I bet that's fake carbon. I'll probably get told off by them. No, it looks real. So real carbon. So basically they are Austrian plus Chinese. So all the engineering and everything happens in China, but I think they design a lot of stuff, and also their sales stuff happens in Austria. So I was on their website last night, and I was quite intrigued that they are actually doing quite well. I mean, look at that. That is proper retro. The color, the pastel color, the seat, proper stuff. They're doing things properly. And if you, for example, these scooters, which are quite quirky, if you want the one with one battery, it's 2,600. Two batteries is 3,991. So that's an extra £400 for an extra battery. Who would not buy that? So yeah, I thought I'll show you this. Pretty quirky, and I quite like this. Really nice. Horwin scooters and bikes. Okay, let's move on to something else. Okay, don't switch off. This is Ariel, and Ariel also do motorbikes and cars. I really wanted to show you the 2020 Ariel Atom 4, still that amazing revvy Honda engine, 320 horsepower. I mean, who doesn't remember Jeremy Clarkson's face while testing that? And I think that is their, is it their Nomad? I remember watching the test. I just love, if I was to do a car track day, that would be on an Ariel Atom. But this is their Nomad. Again, a fantastic car with a Honda VTEC engine. And you know, it's got 235 horsepower, and that one's got nearly 300. And this is their pedigree. So Ariel have always been a motorbike company. You know, they did race bikes, they did kind of transportation bikes, messenger bikes during the war, and all sorts. But this is what the Ariel Ace, this is what inspired Keanu Reeves to start his own bike company. You know, he came to Little Somerset in UK, you know, saw this bike. This is a V4 Honda engine, 1237cc, 173 horsepower. Look at the all-in suspension. Doesn't that remind you of Bimota, that company, that amazing company who does brilliant? Look at those buttons. I have no idea what they do. Probably some missiles come from the front and back. Nissan brakes, radial master cylinder. Look at that all-ins at the back. Proper thick, big spring. But it's a single-seater, as you can tell. But absolutely brilliant. The dash is digital. These bikes have been around for a long time. I mean, this is, with the private number plate, is a 13 reg. So if you're in America, that 13 means it was registered in 2013. So they've been around for a long time. Look at that private number plate. ARI Atom, my favorite track car if I was to do track days. Anyways, let's move to Suzuki, because they've come here with a massive display as always. Suzuki never let you down. Now, what I really want to show you and what I really admire about Suzuki is their vintage part category. I mean, all the Barry Sheen's bikes. If you've got a GXSR 1100, 750 or whatever old Suzuki, they still do all the parts, just like Mercedes do with their cars. So if you've got an old Suzuki, you just cannot go wrong, you know. They will do the parts, any part you want, they still make it, you know, it's just brilliant. Look at that, that's a motorboat engine. They do everything, just like, very similar to like Honda. So let me show you the new Hayabusa. Now, this obviously video is not about a review, but what I wanted to show you is the comparison between, so I'm going to bring the camera low, that is the new Hayabusa, and this is the old one. As you can tell, I really think the new one is slightly lower. It just seems slightly lower than the old one, but they're both fantastic bikes. You know, I'm not a big Hayabusa person, but I know someone who is. Ranbir, big shout out to you. But yeah, I would love to own one of these for a while and probably then sell it. I love this carbon touch here. Love a Hayabusa. Okay, let's move on to something different now. This, I quite like that. So that is, they've done some changes to their livery. And I really love that grey, especially with that Yoshi exhaust. I used to own a Suzuki K7 600cc bike, and I gave it a complete Yoshimura treatment. I ordered all the parts from Japan and completely kitted it with Yoshimura bits. Okay, this is a very special part now, very special part, because not only you've got their two-stroke bikes, the MotoGP bike, from back in the day. You should call them Grand Prix bike more than MotoGP bike. This is Kenny Robert Jr.'s bike. So Kenny Roberts, massive personality in America. His son won the championship in 2000, and then I think after that they only won it last year. So it's been a big gap. And this was the championship winning bike, Joanne Mear's bike. Absolutely lovely. Is it that particular bike? Let me have a quick look. Yep. It is. Wow, look at that beautiful Akropovich exhaust. You know, I'm glad they tell people not to sit on the bike. It's pretty good. Then you've got some bikes from back in the day, Barry Sheen's bikes. Barry Sheen, the last British Grand Prix champion. That is Marco Locinelli's bike. So, and rest of them are Barry Sheen. So absolutely beautiful, beautiful display by Suzuki. Really, really nice, really wonderful. Okay, let's now move to Suzuki's other rivals, which are Honda. But before we do that, I've just spotted this lovely lady next to a lovely classic scheme. So this is the bike of Silvian Guntoli. Now Silvian, I'm a big fan of him. Silvian is a really, really nice guy. He's got a YouTube channel. He explains everything properly. I think there's an analysis video, and I can hear Guntoli's voice in the background. So that is his kitted up bike. And yeah, has it got an Akropovic system? Because I remember, yeah, I think Guntoli went to, was it PCR Performance? Yep, there we go, PCR Performance sticker. Massive shout out to Paul Curran. He went to PCR Performance to get that fitted, and PCR Performance have done some work on my track bike. But okay, let's move on to this way. If I'm not wrong, that is the bike of the wet race winner, Gino Rea, if I'm not wrong. I think I'm pretty sure that's Gino Rea's bike. Gino Rea did a really good job last year. I think he won in the wet twice at Donington, if I'm not wrong. So that is the British Superbike, if you are not from the UK. And that is, there you go, that is it. That's the wet race at Donington. That is the wet race at Donington, and Gino Rea won it. Now, I met Gino Rea at Portimao. He went out with me for one session on the racetrack at Portimao. He gave me some coaching. Amazing wet weather rider, amazing. Okay, let me show you my favorite naked bike. If I were ever to buy a naked bike, that would be the modern Katana. Really, really like that. Really nice bike, and I think what they've done with the Katana, the rebirth, especially the upgrade now, which we've had recently. And if anyone doesn't know, Katana means like a big samurai knife or sword. It's a lovely, lovely bike. Even this one, the GSX 1000, I don't know if they still use the K5, the legendary K5 engine, but if they do, that's fantastic. Is that forged carbon? You know what that is it forged carbon? I don't think so, but I thought it's the first company to use which I've seen around here, forged carbon. They've got that everywhere. I don't know if it is. I don't think it is. I think that's just dipped into something. That's not forged carbon. Would have been nice if they would put something different there. But yeah, I've already shown you Suzuki. Let's move on to another brand. Now, I know I was going to go to Honda, but let's go to KTM, because they've also got their MotoGP bike here. Look at that. That is Brad Binder's bike, Mr. Binder. The guy who did an amazing job and won that wet race on slicks, the last part of the wet race. So what I'm really intrigued about here is, so that is their KTM RC 8C. That's a £31,000 bike. It's a limited 100 models only, but they've sold out on all of them. Completely sold out on all of them. Look at that. There is no petrol tank cap here, sorry. There's one there. So that is probably going down there for center of gravity and all sorts. So this is a proper kitted out bike, proper. So it's 127 horsepower, which you might think is not much, but it's only 140 kilos. But it is dry weight, so you could probably think it probably would be around 165 to 165 kilos, something like that, all fluids in. But yeah, it's a pretty good bike. But they're all sold out. They only made 100 of them. I'm pretty sure it's sitting in someone's living room. But KTM, what they're doing at the moment is concentrating on these kind of bikes, these kind of semi-adventure and adventure bikes with their big engine, their medium range engines, and they are just absolutely brilliant. You know, they're doing a really good job. Announcement time, so I'm going to go quiet. Okay, so the announcement's over, but I really wanted to show you their the super adventure bike. The super adventure bike. So this is the KTM 1290 Adventure R with all the good Gucci bits. So this is 15,999. Again, the same 2-cylinder 4-stroke engine, 160 horsepower, 140 Newton meters of torque. You know, and it's a 217 kilo bike, dry. So it is a heavy bike, but I'm pretty sure most of the heaviness comes from that absolute monstrosity of an exhaust, huge exhaust, but a great bike. Now this one is the S model, a £1,000 cheaper option, but same engine, KTM 1290. Okay, Okay, just a quick shout out to their off-road version bikes as well, which I quite like them. With the WP suspension, they do a pretty good job. This Enduro 690 Enduro R is a cult bike. You know, I know a lot of people like the Hyper Motard, but this kind of started a lot of the Enduro stuff with the, I think it's still a single cylinder bike if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 1 cylinder, 4 stroke. So yeah, again, their 2-stroke bikes are pretty good off-road. Also, in a lot of kind of, I would say, Asian countries, these KTM 390s and 125 Dukes, they sell in their hundreds of thousands. Trust me, massive. I'm, you know, originally from India, so I know this kind of scene there, and it's brilliant. But that KTM 1290 Super Duke R Evo is absolutely fantastic. Still 2-cylinder. They love their 2-cylinder, but this time 180 horsepower with the 140 Newton meters of torque. The dry weight is 191 kilos. Now, I think they could have done something about that dry weight. It is still a little bit too much, but I'm pretty sure, you know, a lot of the exhaust gubbins are to be blamed for that. All that Euro 5 stuff is really pushing the limits. Now, just a quick shout out to their Dakar style bikes. Look at that. That is how you read notes when you are doing your Dakar rally. You've probably seen quite a lot of that on the 44 Teeth channel, because they did the Spanish version of the Dakar, which is, I think, a qualifier for Dakar, if I'm not wrong. Okay, another shout out before we eventually go to Honda, to Husqvarna. Now, Husqvarna is a great company. You know, a lot of people know them for their chainsaws and stuff like this, but they are the kings of off-road and touring. But with these kind of new style bikes they've got, I think they're really hitting the mark, even though they are single cylinder bikes and they're quite you know, small in stature. But with 373cc kind of nimbleness and A2 compliant, they are getting quite popular. However, slightly expensive. Let me tell you the price. All in all, the cash price is around 5,049 for a bike which is just bigger than a Honda Monkey. Now, that's not a disrespect to that bike, but they do a pretty good job. But what they are really famous for is their Enduro 701, which is just under 9,000 pounds with the WP suspension, which is very similar to what KTM do. Okay, we are at Honda. Now, I really wanted to show you the new livery of Honda. Now, here's Mr. McGuinness, multiple Isle of Man winner. Mr. McGuinness, I don't want to bother him with this interview, but it's a pleasure to see John McGuinness. Look at that, he loves his sausages, doesn't he? That's what he says on every single interview. He loves his sausages. He doesn't care about weight loss too much. I think once Honda told him to lose some weight, and I think he put a lot of coins in his pocket on the way in, and then when he came back, he was obviously lighter because he took all those coins out. So Honda thought he'd lost 2-3 kilos, and he also had a big breakfast that day. So I found that interview quite funny. Anyways, I can't show you the special livery bike at the moment, but I will try to. So this is their Fireblade, which I'm a big fan of, because this is taking the market with a storm. My goodness, this is a really good bike. But what they've done with this special livery is just a really good job. I don't want to bother them. They've got similar gimbal as me, so that's nice. That's some kind of channel, TV channel, but that is a great livery. Let's say hello to Mr. McGuinness. Hello, Mr. McGuinness. You can't hear me, I know you can't, but love that livery from back in the day. Massive shout out to Bob Collins, who actually started in the UK with the old school livery on the Honda Fireblade. So yeah, he did a really good job with them. Okay, let's show you more stuff around. If I can. I was going to show you the bikes at the back, but I don't want to be in their camera frame. Okay, now let's have a quick look at the Africa Twin. Yeah. Am I allowed to stand on there? Yeah. So I've just taken permission to actually get real close to the Africa Twin. Now, this also is taking the market by storm. It is a bit pricey, however, at 17,449, it's similar to other bikes. You know, one is a 14,749 here. I'm pretty sure that's probably because of the pannier at the back. But you know, two schemes. You've got the normal Honda scheme. I quite like that scheme, and you've got that the red and black. So my goodness, the amount of bikes Honda's brought here. That's their 4-stroke and 2-stroke off-road bikes. And look at this. I mean, would you think these bikes are 8,199? Tiny little bikes, but they are. They definitely are. Okay, let's show you something quite interesting. This is the CB1000R. Now, I think this is the BM S1000 single R beta. You know, colored screen, stitched leather seat. Look at that race fit exhaust. That is definitely not going to pass any track day noise limits. And this is 69,954. Now, still a little bit on the pricey side, but it's still got that amazing 4-cylinder Fireblade engine. And to be honest, the finishing is okay-ish from a lot of angles, but I do like the whole rear set, kind of that assembly, that subframe assembly as well. Quite like that. But certain parts here, I think if they were going to really do a proper naked version, they could have put a bit of carbon or something to make it look nice. Just what they've done here, that lovely brushed aluminium looks really nice. Upside down forks, Tokiko calipers. A bit of all-in would have been nice for 16,000. Well, 17,000 because it's 16,945. John?
Is that John? You and John Dance. If you want to go, should we just go and have a quick hello to Mike before it gets too busy?
Right. Selfie, one selfie? Yeah. Don't mind? Okay. Cheers, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Well, that was a quick selfie with John McGuinness. He is same height as me on TV. He looks bigger. I'm 173 centimeters or 5 feet 8. And he's exactly the same height as me. Okay, massive shout out to the CBR livery. So that is the 2001, that is the 2004 bike, that is the 2008 bike, 2014 bike, the 2016 bike. Honda were quite stubborn. They did not change much from, say, 2008 onwards. It looked pretty similar, but that was the same case with the Suzuki. But look at that livery. You know, that is what the Fireblade is famous for. Black exhaust. Amazing. That was a very retro thing to do. I love the 2 round lights in the front. I've got 2 motorbikes at home which have round lights, and I just absolutely love them. One's the Triumph and the other's the Suzuki, and I just love it. Absolutely love it. I've got the Honda. I've also got the Honda CBR F version, which is kind of the road going version of this bike. It was pre the Fireblade. But I quite like these bikes. I don't think I'll ever own one of these because I've already got the Suzuki GXSR, so not really, I'm not going to own that one. But here we go. This is what I really wanted to show you, and I didn't want to come into the camera. This is their road-going MotoGP bike, I should say. That is the only thing. Look at the mirrors. The mirrors are on the lever guards. What an ingenious idea. Looks stealth, looks clean, looks wonderful, absolutely fantastic. I really, really like that. Nice touch, nice touch. And this is their British Superbike. Again, really, really nice bike. Fully loaded. Love it, absolutely love it. Okay, let's move on to showing you this livery up close. So as you can tell, and I've said that in a lot of videos, a lot of the bikes will have the wings now based in a fairing, because I think soon we will gonna have these rules where the wings can't stick out too much, even on road bikes. I'm 100% sure we're gonna have those rules. But for £24,000, guys, make up your mind. I think that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money for a for a bike, but it is the SP version. That is their top of the notch version. But again, I say, you know, they can save some money by not having a Akropovic exhaust, have a normal exhaust, but give people the option to buy a proper Akropovic with no catalytic converters. So, because even though that's a Akropovic, people are going to change that anyway. So that is just my personal opinion. It really infuriates me, to be very honest with you, where companies are spending a lot of money with the Akropovic, with the cat and everything, and let me tell you something, with all due respect to Honda, they do sound absolutely amazing even with that exhaust, but still, I still think they can save a bit of money by not paying a Akropovic or making an Akropovic exhaust, which is road legal. Just have a normal one and give people the option to buy aftermarket. Anyways, this one, really wanted to give it a shout out to this bike because for £6,399, CBR 500R. Now this particular bike is so popular, especially with new riders who've just passed their test, because it is an all-in-one bike which can do everything. It's pretty nippy, you know, it is really nice bike. I think for 6,300, a sporty looking bike, you can't go wrong. Okay, now let's move on to another company which I quite like, is Caballero. Now I am a massive cafe racer, custom enthusiast. I've already said that in the video, but this particular company, you know, for bikes which are around 7,300, they do a pretty good job. You know, the engine, let me tell you, it's a 4-stroke bike, 500cc engine, just about 449 really, 40 horsepower. So I'm pretty sure this is A2 compliant, and you can be A2 compliant with a bit of style. Really like that, really like that. And then you've got the Fantic bikes there, the electric ones. Okay, we're at CCM. Now, I am a massive fan of CCM. Okay, you probably think, my goodness me, he's a massive fan of many things. I am, you know, and CCM, they do a really good job. Not only they are based in the UK, but they also have my favorite bike name of all, which is Spitfire. I quite like that name, Spitfire, but Carl Fogarty has got a lot to do with this company, and they do really nice work. Most of the bikes, I think, are single cylinder, if I'm not wrong, and yeah, for about 10k, it's not that bad. And they've got some great fun kind of deals through Close Brothers, and I really wanted to show you one of the bikes. Ow, I nearly slipped. There was a very nice looking lady there. The models have actually stopped. The whole model thing is actually quite reduced quite a bit, but I quite like this color. This is very nice, pastel blue with some nice looking panniers. Look at that. That is stunning, absolutely stunning. 55 bhp, I'm pretty sure you can restrict that if you're A2, but look at that old school license plate system, you know. And these were banned actually because of health and safety, because if you hit someone with that, you can actually chop them in half. So yeah, some of the bikes are 2 cylinders, some of them are 1, but yeah, I quite like that. Now, £106 a month on a finance deal, that doesn't sound too bad with 4% interest. That doesn't sound too bad at all. But is it my cup of tea? Yes and no. I like the leather, I like what they've done with the bikes, but I just like a big thumpy engine. I used to own a Honda CX500, which I would really put it in this kind of category, 500cc 2-cylinder engine, you know, and I really loved that Honda CX500, but I never got the thumpiness from it, you know, the big thumpy thing I wanted, which you get from like a 1200 Triumph or a Moto Guzzi. And that's why I sold that bike, because I just didn't get the theatre of riding a cafe racer or a custom bike with that one. So same thing with this one. I think the engine is a bit too small for me, but what they're doing, and being British, made in Britain, if they are made in Britain, I'm sure they are. I was told by someone. But anyways, they are absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, we are now at Ducati. Another brilliant Italian brand. Massive shout out to my friend Hyper Motard King. And look at this. You can still have a proper Hyper Motard with an A2 license compliancy. So amazing looking bike. Absolutely fantastic. 950cc SP, all in front and back. brilliant. But what I really wanted to show you is the new Ducati V4 Panigale. Nearly hit the lady there. That is the Troy Bayliss version, if I'm not wrong. The V2, yep, that's the Bayliss first championship 20th anniversary edition of the bike. I think his son is doing really well as well now. So let me find the new Panigale. Big shout out to the Street Fighter. Okay, so I thought I'm struggling to find the new V4S, but I thought I'll show you the Street Fighter V4 SP. Now this one's got all the goodies. It's got the carbon wheels, the carbon wings. My goodness, it just looks absolutely stunning. You know, so Ducati are really doing well lately. You know, they've got a few models out. They're doing well at the racetrack. And they're also doing well with a lot of their other models, and they just keep moving the bar every single year. You know, they haven't stopped at the V4. I think this is now the third evolution of the V4 as well. They keep changing the gearing, they keep changing. I mean, I think the new one has got an extra 1.5 horsepower, but they've changed the gearing on the first, second and sixth gear, so it's a bit more user-friendly but still lethal at the same time. But I can't find it. Normally Ducati are massive. This time it's not. I'm quite surprised. Where's the V4S? The SPI is not here.
No, the only SP we've got is the Street Fighter.
Okay, fine. I've just videoed that. Thank you. Cheers. So that's from the horse's mouth, without any disrespect to the lady, that the V4 SP is not here, which I am super surprised. Maybe they're all testing it at Herald, which they were, and maybe all the bikes are actually there. Okay, another company I really wanted to show you, which is right next to Ducati, is Dot Motorcycles. Now, I'm into my old bikes, but never a company I see and I think I've not heard of them, and I have not heard of Dot Motorcycles. So I've just spoken to the part owner of the company, I think, and this. Look at this. This is an absolutely stunning bike. It's got a Kawasaki 2-cylinder engine, and that's about it really. Everything else is British made, locally sourced or source indicators there. That is just beautiful. Absolutely wonderful. Look at the subframe, the chassis, the swing arm, tubular. Brilliant. This is what the British are great at. And this is what surprised me. So Dot used to run, so most of the stuff is made up north around Bolton, but they were based in Manchester. The building still stands, but it's now a apartment building, just like Sunbeam in Wolverhampton. And but love that. That is your leather chain. So if your original leather chain on your bike goes kaput, you've got a backup chain. And do you remember those the tax disc holders? My goodness, I just remember them. So looks like a company which, to be honest, used to make bikes with smallerish engines, and yeah, they've now been maybe rebought and rebirthed now with these amazing bikes. Brembo brakes front and back. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. I just love what people do. Aim dash. I've used AIM on road and track on my Aprilia. It didn't marry very well with the Aprilia, but I'm pretty sure they've done the full kind of wiring loom. Yeah, that's an AIM wiring loom. I can see the sticker. So they've done a proper job. Carbon front, carbon back, carbon tank. Wow, super impressed. And a scrambler version as well. You know, that is from back in the day. Now, I'm pretty sure they'll probably do something similar in the modern bike. Whenever I see that kind of bike, it just reminds me of Steve McQueen and the Triumph, you know. Just love it. Okay, let's move on to the next display. Okay, we are at Royal Enfield, which is right next to Ducati and Dot, which I've just done. So let's have a quick look at Royal Enfield. Now, what I love about Royal Enfield is they never forget the heritage, you know. Absolutely born in Redditch, now flourishing in India, and the heritage and the amount of bikes are just absolutely on another level. Love the Meteor 700 twin. Love that. That is just one of my ultimate old school bikes. Lovely stuff. This is the new Meteor, which is the 350 version of the bike. I've been in touch with my local Royal Enfield dealer to review a few bikes, but you know, I'm more into kind of track and super bikes, but I think I will, because I've just got a massive soft spot for them, being Indian, and you know, and also the bikes, you know, not far from me, Redditch as well. You know, it's not far from where I live in England. So so look at that. That is all black, and love the old school Royal Enfield logo. That is the 120 Interceptor. Just looks absolutely stunning, absolutely amazing. That is, look at that. That is just a bicycle with a motor bolted on the top by the handlebars. Imagine the shake on that on your handlebars. It's just absolutely amazing. Anyways, okay, let's have a look at what I actually came to look out here for. Was a semi-concept version. They've done a few concepts. Look at that. That's like a Husqvarna modern 701 with a Royal Enfield engine. That's the bike shed version. That is your the bobber, the Continental GT. But this is what I came for here to look at. It is a bit of a concept, 650 twin, but that just reminds me of, that is all like a single piece of metal, if I'm not. So that is metal, and it's a concept. But if they can make that into reality, that would be great. I hope you can hear me with this announcement going on. Okay, let me show you something different. This is Ohvale UK. Peter Hickman is in town, which is great. And obviously this is the kind of showstopper. They've just put that here to get people's attention. And you know what, this is amazing, because when I used to come to the bike show, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years ago, you always used to get either a showstopper bike or a model with not many clothes on, and which doesn't happen anymore. You know, I think I have a picture somewhere in 2013 with some models on a victory bike or something, and that doesn't happen. I think that's like frowned upon now. Lovely ladies with not many clothes on isn't very popular theme anymore. But yeah, these are like your pit bikes, but Ohvale do a really good job, you know, and the pit bikes are amazing. They're fantastic. It's just absolutely amazing. Now let's see. These are some of the members of maybe of the British Superbike team, which Peter races in, and this is Peter's loads. They put a lot of emphasis on his apparel. So yeah, maybe I can get a selfie with him. Peter, can I get a selfie? Sure. If you don't mind.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Best of luck for next year. You can actually purchase a lot of the Peter Hickman's apparel on his website, peterhickman.net. So yeah, so that was. Now, one thing I'm quite intrigued about is Yamaha not being here properly. Why? I don't know. I just don't understand. I just don't get it. I don't know. Why? I'm going to ask the lady. Why is Yamaha not here properly?
We're launching our 2022 models through our dealer network this year.
Ah, okay.
They've put a huge investment in, big revamped, they look fantastic for this product.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you probably didn't hear that because the mic wasn't on the lady, but they are concentrating a lot on their dealer network this year, and that's why they're not here properly. But I love their apparel. You know, even before, their clothing is really nice, really good stuff, especially the old school stuff. You know, they don't do a lot of cafe racer stuff, but the old school bikes are brilliant. So I'm quite disappointed. I mean, Yamaha doesn't need much introduction in terms of or much of a sales pitch. They've won the British Superbike Championship. They've won the World Superbike Championship. Did they win the Endurance Championship, or was that Suzuki? But they're doing really well. So okay, this side I thought I'll just show you. Bit for the kids there. You can buy these wooden bikes. I'll show you all this on part 2 of the video, which is going to be, and that is KTM's playground basically. So I don't know what there's too much echo. I can't even understand what they're saying. But I'm going to move away from this part and move on to Italjet. Now, guys, you know, I know my motorbikes here and there, but some places I've come and I just go absolutely blank. I have no idea what Italjet is, but looks like they make some scooters, some lightweight scooters, some old school scooters, some orange scooters, some pastel scooters. But that's all I know about Italjet, honestly. Don't expect me to know everything, but that's a brand which everyone knows. They make more money now with their t-shirts than they actually do on their scooters. Did you know that? That is a fact. Lambretta, amazing people. Okay, now just want to throw a big shout out, just I did with CF Moto, is Lexmoto. Now, CF Moto were doing a really good job with promoting their stuff in the UK, and so has Lexmoto as well. Lexmoto is really doing a very good job at not only making decent stuff which looks good, but also, you know, the reviews are actually not that bad on some of the new stuff. I know the earlier versions of these kind of cruiser bikes were easily rusting and stuff like that, but they moved on to sports bikes, some cafe racer style bikes. I mean, that tank with that color scheme is absolutely lovely. So yeah, I just wanted to throw a positive shout out to Lexmoto, because they actually do a really good job. Okay, next one is something close to my heart, with a bit of an Indian theme again. Next to Ducati, I should have done that next to Ducati, but anyhow. BSA, Return of the Legend. Now Mahindra, which is a massive Indian company, huge Indian company, have taken over BSA. Now let's hope, now this is my personal theory. Now Norton has been taken over by TVS, which is another Indian company, maybe competitors with Mahindra. So internal competition between these two Indian companies to make great British bikes would be brilliant to see. Now look at these old school bikes, love that. I absolutely love old bikes. I'm such a big fan. But you know, you can just tell when things, that was the Gold Star, quite a famous one, but after that Rocket 3, that particular version, things start to get, you know, on the low side a bit. But I'm just really happy they are back, you know. I don't care if they're supported by a foreign company, Indian company. Look what happened to Jaguar Land Rover. You know, they're doing really well, owned by an Indian company. So I'm pretty sure these guys will flourish as well. I'm pretty sure. So let me show you some of their bikes. Love the paintwork on that. Look at that. That Union Jack blended in with the black. Really nice. I think they're all 650cc single engine. So I'm surprised they didn't do a twin, but to be honest, single is what the real true cafe racer heart. I love the fins on that, very different. The true cafe racer heart from back in the day with your Velocets, you know, and a lot of the other old British bikes were single cylinder bikes. So they are kind of going back to basics with these single cylinder bikes, and they've done a really good job by bringing the brand back. And let's just hope, you know, they just do it properly now, and just not do a half-hearted thing. They do say that they are going to do, some of the bikes are going to be made back in the Midlands. Now, you know, with all due respect to the British industry and BSA thinking then they're going to bring it back in the UK, I just think they should just keep it in India, keep the costs low, just like what Royal Enfield has done. You know, they've kept the costs low, and they've done a really good job on these bikes. I just especially love the fins on the engine. It's such a good cooling system. It just cools it better, it's more efficient, and anything which runs cooler, it just will run better. Just thought I'll show you something interesting. See those guns in the background? So BSA actually means British, not British, Birmingham Small Arms. They used to actually make arms and ammunitions back in the day, but obviously they moved on to motorbikes, and they're doing pretty well. They're doing really well. So let's hope. I wish them all the best. Well, here's something you might like quite a lot. These are BSH Custom Heroes. Now this is not my kind of thing too much. I do like custom bikes, but not extreme like this tuk-tuk style custom straight four-engined bike. It's absolutely unbelievable. They've got a number of bikes here, and they look quite interesting, And that one, I mean, that's amazing. I you know, sometimes I'm lost for words, and this is one of those moments. That I wouldn't mind. That I've been looking at that bike for ages. Since 2013, that bike has been in every single show. That Kawasaki Turbo. Now that is something, my kind of thing. A bit retro and also quite quick. Okay guys, hope you like this part 1. I've taken my coat off, I'm really hot and bothered. Loads of people are here today, so I hope you liked all the motorbikes I showed you today. Don't forget to check in for part 2 as well, which will mainly concentrate on the British ingenuity, I can never get that word right, or British distributors who are out here kind of promoting their stuff, distributing a lot of the stuff, even though the stuff could be made anywhere in the world, but they bring it here and they kind of distribute it, or they actually make it here, or there's a lot of CNC stuff which goes on in this country, and I will show you all that in part 2. So thank you for watching guys, look after yourself. I'm signing off. Like and subscribe as usual. Hope you like this part 1. Sorry if it was a bit too fast, but it had to be done that way because there's so many people, as you can see from the background.